Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we'll be looking at an Italian cruiser, and in fact the first heavy cruiser in the Italian line. This is the Trento. Now, the Trento was indeed the first heavy cruiser that the Italians actually built, and she was technically a treaty cruiser, but practically, well, not quite. I mean, no one was ever really taking the treaties all that seriously. And she was built mostly for speed and almost had really didn't have any armor. I think she at the thickest she had a belt plating of 70 millimeters, which is not much. But heavy cruiser, so bigger guns. Now, one thing that I came across when I was reading up on the Trento, and she did have the typical Italian cruiser career in the Mediterranean, did have the occasional skirmish with the British, lots of convoy escort, and eventually got bombed or torpedo dropped, I think, and sunk. But you may have noticed, if you're looking at the forward section of Italian ships, that they have these red and white stripes on them. And I've always been wondering why that was. And it turns out that during one particular battle, when the Italian fleet was busy escorting transports over to North Africa, while the British were busy escorting transports over to Malta, that they came across each other. And nothing too much became of the naval engagement, even though battleships and everything involved. But the Italians at the time were level bombing. They weren't dive bombing. So they were still under the idea that you could fly a level bomber across an enemy fleet and then drop bombs and actually hit anything, which didn't work. The thing is that a lot of the Italian planes arrived when the battle was pretty much over. And about 50 or so of them were actually bombing the Italian forces because they got them mixed up. And that triggered, the Trento was part of that, and that triggered the Italians to paint these red and white stripes on the bows of their ships, such that they're friendly bombers, because they were dropping bombs from a height, right? So if you're dive bombing and you're going in close, you're pretty clear towards the end what you're actually trying to hit. But if you're bombing from a large height and from an altitude, then it's much more difficult to actually distinguish what you're dropping your bombs on. And that's why the Italians were painting these stripes on these ships. So I found that rather interesting as a little side note. But yeah, the Trento. So the Tier 6 heavy cruiser. She is not particularly well armored, and that is historically accurate, because she does get 6% damage reduction, and like I said, there was almost no armor in these things. So hull-wise, this is very comparable to the other Tier 6 light cruisers that you're getting. She is, as is typical for the Italians, pretty fast, and the maneuverability isn't great, but you can kind of do a little bit about it, and you should, because it's really dreadful unless you put the modules in. The guns is where it gets interesting, because remember, this is the Italian cruiser line, so we are now seeing 203mm semi-armor piercing, which we've already looked at with the Venezia, and it's kind of similar true for the Trento here. So the SAP does more damage, with almost 1,000 alpha damage, but obviously doesn't have the same amount of penetration. Now, the 203mm armor piercing is pretty good, but still not good enough to deal with battleships, really. So oftentimes I find myself just, switching, but in effect, the semi-armor piercing, if you can hit the weak spots on the battleship, and from long range that would be mostly the superstructure, is going to do a full penetration. So the difference isn't all that large at range anyway, and you might as well just stick with the semi-armor piercing. The reload, as is typical as well for the Italians, is on the low side, with I think a 12 or 12.5 second base reload, something like that. And we get torpedoes, as is typical. 2 triple launchers with a good reload, long range, but they're only triple launchers, one on each side. The AA is starting to get a bit better. Still, I mean, we're at tier 6, so it's not really like a particularly great AA for that tier, but it's not terrible either. And the surface detection is pretty decent as well. Like I did mention earlier, you do want the double steering. So slot 2 and 3. You could consider just taking propulsion instead, but personally I prefer the double steering to just get the rudder shift under 10 seconds, and it's still not great. The only thing that was actually somewhat decently armored on that ship were the turrets. So surprisingly enough, the main battery mod 2 kind of works here. And that brings down, like I said, the reload to below 12 seconds. So that's not dreadful, something you can do. You can get better torpedoes or main battery traverse. I would thoroughly recommend using main battery traverse because that frees up the first slot for the reload. Because even with that, the turrets only have a 9 degree per second base turn time, which is what you get, or all in all turn time, which is what you get as a base turn time on an American heavy cruiser. So that's kind of what I would recommend as a combo, but everybody to their own liking. If you are inclined to get the unique historical camouflage on this ship, it gives you range, torpedo range, better traverse, and better surface detection, which is all very, very good. But obviously we're not going to be doing that here. The commander, I am actually sailing with Luigi Sansonetti, the legendary commander, which means that you are going to see the occasional, because it's my personal account, so I'm not switching commanders around here, you are going to see the occasional sixth sense popping up. So I know when someone is targeting me, which is extremely valuable in a ship this lightly armored, and allows you to, play a little bit more towards that if you know that someone is about to shoot at you. Other than that, we are still going to be looking at Sansonetti in more detail, but he is the only Italian commander who is actually getting the improved semi-armor piercing shell skill. I mean, this also works for the HE skills because there are some Italian premiums out there which have a HE, but it does get the better sub penetration, so that is a very, very good skill to have, and that is the reason why I was actually getting back into the Italian cruisers. All right. Well, battle honors. We haven't looked at that in a while, so let's just quickly go through these. 15 battles is trivial. 15 wins is pretty trivial as well. 20 enemy cruisers is not impossible at tier 6 because there are plenty of light cruisers that you can actually do a very, very respectable amount of damage to. And 700,000 points of damage in total is also not difficult. So, this is a very reasonable thing. So for now, let's slap the standard camo on and get into some games. In the first battle, we are on a bottom tier game, and it's base capture on Bay of Storms. So we're up against the Colorado, Fuso, Ceres, Budioni, Nürnberg, Aka, and Gallant. Lots of cruisers around here, lots of light cruisers. So that's where the semi-armor piercing will really, really shine, and also obviously against the destroyers. Colorado and Fuso, not perfect targets for me, but at long range I can deal with these guys as well, and just dodge, So we're spawning on the 3 side, so we're going to be up against 4 enemy ships. I think it is cross spawn. I'm not 100% sure. It could be mirror. Can't remember, but we're definitely going to be up against something. We have a Gnevny, so hopefully he can go and spot. I mean, Gnevny is not the most stealthy ship, but he's probably also not feeling overly confident given that there are 3 cruisers out there. So we'll see where he's going. But typically something comes around that corner, and if it's at a Gnevny, that corner there, where are you going? No, that's not where the... okay, I'm not sure what he's trying to do. Maybe he's trying to ambush someone with torpedoes, but he's not in the right ship for that. It would have been great if he was able to spot something, because I could have taken care of the destroyers if he spots any. But he decides that he wants to be next to that island and basically sail around and go back to the capture circle. So it's just Pensacola and me. That changes the tactical situation a little bit here, which means that we are going to have to hold this flank. Okay, there's the Budioni. So let's start with that guy. Like I said, not a bad concealment. Okay, Ceres as well. Citadel on the Budioni with the semi-armor piercing. Like I said, the SAP against cruisers is perfectly viable. So shots out, and someone is targeting me. I think that is the Sirius, but Pensa and me are just... oh, and we also have an Akka over there. Okay. So turn, full reverse turn, and see if we can... okay, Pensa takes out the Budyoni. Is he going to survive? Yes, he survives the Akka torps. And Akka is giving full broadside to me, and is just reversing there. I'm not sure why, but together Pensacola and me should be able to take this guy out, no problem as well. And oh, lucky. Okay, one more salvo will do it. But there come the Pensacola shots, and he takes him out. Well done. Okay, that's 2 down for the price of none. I am still getting peppered with high explosive by that Sirius over there, and there's a Nuremberg. But this is a good start. So we are definitely helping out on this flank. And oh, we've got a Gallant as well. We've got the whole enemy team here. Okay, back in reverse. No, actually he is rushing me. So this is a good time to use the fuel smoke, turn around, just drop some torpedoes in his wake, just to get him off course, and kite away, because I don't want to get into a close range fight with the Gallant. I don't really have the maneuverability for that. But Pensacola is helping out. And he is so focused on trying to torpedo me that he's not even paying any attention whatsoever. And now he's very dead Gallant, because that you don't do that. And that's 3 down. But we have lost the Pensacola, so it's just me, myself, and I again against Nuremberg and Sirius. But the rest of my team at this point has an easy sailing, because we have literally decimated the whole enemy team on this flank. So now I'm just delaying them. To make sure that my team can cap out before these guys are getting into the capture circle. And that's a nice citadel on the Nuremberg. Like I said, the semi-armor piercing, 203mm, not to be underestimated. Now I am running out of map here, which is very unfortunate. But that means I'm going to have to give broadside, and against the Nuremberg that's going to hurt. And he knows that he should be shooting armor piercing. But I have some torpedoes on the way. His torpedoes shouldn't be able to reach me. I'm using my smoke just, to throw them off a little bit. Yeah, that should get him a little bit turned away. And the Sirius is making it into the capture circle. So, but I think my team has been gotten there. Yeah, my team got into the capture circle first. So even though there's still 3 minutes to play, there's no danger of us actually losing by capping. I mean, I'm going to die here, right? This salvo is probably going to kill me. Yeah, there we go. But that's okay, because we have delayed this flank for long enough that my team is going to be capping out before theirs, and that means we have done our job. And honestly, these 2 cruisers are all that's left. They came with 5 ships down this flank, and they're down to 2. So yeah, that has worked pretty well in our favor. And yeah, my team's almost capped out. We might be trading caps here, but yeah, it's too late. They are not going to win by capping, and that means we've got this, unless our team is fortunately our Pensacola is intelligent and actually stays inside the capture circle rather than leaving the cap. But yeah, we're capping out at this point. Well done. And then the rest of my team can just deal with these two guys here. But yeah, Nuremberg's down. That just leaves the Sirius. And yeah, against same tier light cruisers, the semi-armor piercing is pretty devastating. So really not something to underestimate. This is a tier 6 cruiser, but it's kind of like a Pensacola. And is that Fubuki seriously going to run into Sirius torpedoes? Yes, he is. Or is Indy? Yes, he got torpedoed. He got 1 hit, but he survived. And well done to the Sirius. But yeah, the Gnevny is now rushing him, coming back after he's been sailing around the whole island. And yeah, these torpedoes are not going to hit, my friend, because the Sirius is a very maneuverable ship, but he's not standing it. He's not standing a chance. Well played. Oh no, he actually catches him with one of the torpedoes. Well played, Sirius, but your team let you down. And this is how you can die 3 minutes into the battle and still get the MVP. If you accidentally the whole enemy team. Thanks also to the Pensacola, who's been doing a really great job helping out there. All right, let's do that once more. And in the second battle, we are top tier actually. So we're up against Ismail, Bayern, Pensacola, Königsberg, Fubuki, double Okhotnik. Oh dear, lots of torpedoes at close range. Domination, big race, yeah. So like mid-tier battles, you can often play a lot more aggressively than if you're bottom tier. So if it's a tier 5, tier 6 battle, I'm generally a bit more aggressive than I would be if it's a tier 7 battle and I'm up against a whole bunch of tier 7 battleships, then you'd be playing at range, but and using your torpedoes, which by the way have excellent angles. But here I'm going to go with Farragut, and I don't know where Nicholas seems to be going B. So Farragut's going A. So I'm gonna maybe no Farragut, not this way. The cap's that way. Yeah, there you go. While we're sorting ourselves out here in our positioning, she is very quick and can escort a destroyer into the capture circle. So that is definitely something she's capable of. And if I run into any of the Okhotniks, then yeah, they're not going to have a great time. Plus, I actually have range all across B Cup from over here because it's a relatively small map. So, and plenty of island cover as well. So this is a good position to be in. There's one of the battleships. There's another. Yeah, there are only 2 battleships out there. So one destroyer in B. How do I know it's a destroyer? Because it's not yet spotted. Okay, 2 destroyers in B. Scratch that. It's the Okhotnik and the Fubuki. So while they're not paying attention, he just turned. Okay, I think we've got the destroyer of our own just ahead of us. There's the enemy Okhotnik. He's in a battle with the Farragut. I think, within the Okhotnik's torpedo range, so I'm actually going to have to slow down. But he's trying to torpedo the Farragut at this point, and the Farragut is not having any of it. There's also a Königsberg, which is a much bigger problem. So I'm going to drop some torpedoes in that general direction and then hurt the Okhotnik. But I do have to pay attention there. Yeah, there's a Fubuki on my left as well. Where are you going? Are you going this way? I'm just going to donk some torpedoes there. And even if it just distracts them a little bit. Okay, these are Königsberg torps, so they're not going to reach me. We've got 1 torp hit on the Okhotnik or something else. And the Fubuki needs to dodge torps, which means he needs to broadside me. Oh, and he survives on like 1 hit point. Okay, can somebody just kill that thing? Otherwise I'll kill him. Come on, hurry up. Okay, because I've got another destroyer right next to me. Yeah, there's another Okhotnik coming. So, shots out. And that should be... Yeah, that's about half the Okhotnik gone. I do have to pay attention here, though, because these 2 guys are still around. They've run into islands, all of them, but... So it's a good time for a fuel smoke, just to kill that Okhotnik there, and then maybe dropping some torpedoes on the Königsberg. He has noticed me, so he's not completely stupid. But I should be able to get behind the island there. Yeah, I'll take 1, that's okay. And I still get a torpedo hit on the Königsberg and shot his rudder off, or his propulsion. It's difficult to tell, but that is gone. Alright, so that's 2 destroyers down. Königsberg's still alive, and I'm still being targeted. That's the Königsberg, but we have that sorted out. Now I just need to get around the island there. I am unspotted at this point, but I can lob over the island and blap that Königsberg. If I had gone a little bit wider, it would have been nice, because I could have really shot this broadside. I am still getting fired by by something there over there in the back, but we're now they're now 3 ships down. Dodge the remaining Königsberg torps. And just go bow in case he has got... he should have another salvo, I'm not sure. Because if you're chasing after one of these things, you're actually running into the torpedoes. And yeah, he also knows that he can dodge things, which is not something you see very often at this tier. So kudos to him. And he's shooting armor piercing at me. So definitely somebody who's been playing the Königsberg before. The Bayern is targeting me, so I am once again using my... I assume it's the Bayern. Once again using my fuel smoke to get into the turn while I'm giving broadside here. Could also be the Ismail. But there's definitely been battleship fire coming out from that direction. Now, I might die here because I've got 2 battleships and the Königsberg. I have basically the whole enemy team to deal with. So I'm just going to donk some torpedoes in that general direction maybe. Nah, they're just all stopping. Let's see if I can get away and dodge some shots from... these Königsberg torps are never going to reach me. Yeah, the Ismail was in a turn, so some more shots out at the Königsberg. Might drop some torpedoes at the Ismail and use that island to just survive as long as possible. Now it's like Ismail is in a turn again, so he's not going to be He's not going to be running into my torps. And I am going to come out broadside there in front of that Bayern, but I'm just going to get some torpedoes on him. Oh, he's firing high explosive. Bless him. See if we can get the kill on the Königsberg, but I am very dead here because I am really right in front of all these battleships. Just getting some shots out here. So maybe I can still get torps out at the Ismail. I think we know we didn't get the kill on the Königsberg. So, can I get torps away? Torps on the Bayern. Another torp drop, maybe that hits the Bayern as well, but yeah, someone's going to kill me. Is everybody firing high explosive in the battleships? The only one who has got any sense is the Königsberg. But I mean, we've been holding all the caps, and once again, I am the enemy team accidentally, all of it. Okay, the Ismail is pretty good at torpedo dodging, maneuverable thing that, but yeah, they would have to kill everyone. And because they're so far behind on points, so that at this point it's going to be relatively difficult. Yeah, the Trento is a very, very good ship in my opinion. It's a very fun tier 6 cruiser, and the absence of HE doesn't really hurt because the 203mm semi-armor piercing is really, really good actually. And even against battleships, superstructure will do a decent amount of damage. And the fuel smokes are very nice as well to just, you know, cover your side when you're doing turns. Just make sure you're putting the smoke up and then go into the turn, because if you're full on broadside and then just smoking up, then, you know, it's easy to blind fire you. So, but they are very, very good. I think it's a very, very good ship. I'm thoroughly enjoying that, and curious to see what the next tiers are bringing in terms of Italian cruisers. I think I'm just going to forward it here until it's the end, because it's not really that much happening anymore. I mean, we've won this at this point, they're dead. So let me skip that for you. And that's the end of the battle. And we're still coming out on top of the battle, because once again, we may have died halfway through, but we've done a lot in that short period of time. I think it's a good ship. It's free. It's in the tech tree. Go have fun with it. And if you manage to come across Luigi Sansonetti, is a good captain for that as well, especially with the 6th sense skill that you're getting a lot earlier than the semi-armor piercing penetration improvement skill. That's it for today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.